You're joining us in beautiful Hakai,
Wow, this is absolutely stunning.
a breathtaking archipelago of islands on British Columbia's remote west coast. Rugged and wild with pristine sandy beaches
The sand is so nice.
and lush coastal rainforests.
You just thought that piece of bull kelp was a snake.
These are called a dunny in Australia.
We've been out here for months, completely removed from civilization as we know it, aboard our small 30-foot sailboat, Uintah, living pretty simply from the land and ocean, experiencing some of this country's hardest to reach wild, unspoiled places and untamed wildlife.
Confirmed, definitely an orca.
Oh my god.
Today, you'll find our floating home parked here, a short distance from these incredible sandy beaches.
So the plan is to hang out here for at least one night, maybe two, but we're gonna check out the trails and the beaches tomorrow.
Something we seldom get to experience on this mountainous coast. So you bet we're rowing ashore stat to soak it all in. After days spent confined on Uintah, we are eager to stretch our sea legs.
It's really nothing better than taking your shoes off at the beach. Feels so good.
Oh, good beach run.
The dock and facilities you see here are part of the Hakai Institute, a completely off-grid ecological observatory located here in the Great Bear Rainforest, halfway between Vancouver and Alaska. The only inhabitation on Calvert Island, this off-grid field station conducts scientific research in order to better understand our coastal habitats. Once a luxury fishing resort, the Hakai Institute purchased and transformed the facilities here into a cutting-edge research center, which now houses brilliant scientists, professors, and graduate students involved in some of the province's most innovative science, studying everything from sand formations to sea otters.
Cool.
Tons of bunk beds in there.
I always wanted to live in a yurt.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, well now's your opportunity here at the Hakai Institute.
Pretty skookum outhouse. It looks like there's a lot of funds going into this facility, so that's great because they're doing some really awesome research.
These are called a dunny in Australia. A drop toilet,
A long drop.
a long drop. There's many names for them. And this one is a very fine example of a Pacific Northwest themed long drop. Oh, that is a beautiful shitter. Look, you can lock yourself in there, do your business, dream of the stars. Just gorgeous.
While the grounds of the Institute are private, visiting boaters are able to tie up at the dinghy dock and make use of the trails and spectacular white sand beaches of the island.
Well, there's no one around to really talk to here, but the place is very well signposted, and we have just found the trail to West Beach, so we're going to check that out.
Very well signposted in here, and the trail very clearly defined. Excellent job, Hakai Institute. Leaves naught for imagination, and you know exactly where to go.
Yeah, you even know where your dogs can poop and pee.
Which is not everywhere like many people think.
Into the woods. Oh, imaginary tripping hazard.
Hakai.
For such a safe boardwalk, you just went flying.
I know.
Which you never do on trails that are not defined.
It's the well-definedness of it that makes it really challenging for me.
It's too consistent, too predictable.
Yeah, I'll hold this down while you get over it, okay?
Okay, be careful. Hazard. Ooh.
I was gonna say maybe these are wolf prints, but then there's human prints, so they're probably just dog prints.
James and I both spent too much time in Australia because we just thought that piece of bull kelp on the trail was a snake and jumped like 2 feet in the air. So
Snakes really get me going, and not in a good way.
that's really, really funny. We were like, ah! It's just seaweed, not a snake. James and I were saying that we've picked out our camo outfits today. We're like head to toe green, brown, and black. We've definitely blended in with the environment here.
Yeah, what do you reckon? Safari look? Safari look is coming back in, I think.
It's working? Working for us?
I think so.
Yeah, let us know. We're definitely close now because you can hear the waves crashing and you can smell how salty it is. Wow, this is absolutely stunning. We don't have a lot of really nice beaches in British Columbia. Well, I guess we do, but we also don't. For the size of it, there aren't very many, but this one definitely tops the list. And we are the only people here, which is pretty spectacular.
It's really nice to have this beautiful, big, sandy beach all to ourselves for a brief moment in time. It's absolutely stunning. Just brilliant, eh? Just beautiful.
Before I went to Australia with James, every time we came to a Canadian beach, he'd be like, oh, but Australia's beaches are nicer.
Yeah.
And now I've been to Australia and I can say with certainty that this is a very nice beach. Definitely up there with your Australian fine white sand.
It is. It even has sand dunes. Look at them. They're covered with like grass and stuff like they should be. It's so cool.
Followed the trail to the North Beach, and this one is also very beautiful. They're all beautiful. This one has a view of everything that we sailed yesterday, so the mountains and all the little islets that we sailed between. And I think we're just gonna take our clothes off and frolic around for the afternoon. There's really nothing better than taking your shoes off at the beach. It feels so good. Oh, the sand is so nice. Should we go for a swim?
Maybe. It's probably still freezing though.
It's gonna be really cold. What you got there?
Found some abalone shells. Look how trippy the inside is. I think these things have some kind of like snaily type thing, and they kind of like adhere to the rocks and slowly move around, but I'm not really sure. We'll have to do some research. They are endangered though, and you're not allowed to harvest them. And they're used by First Nations people in a lot of their art here on the West Coast, which is really beautiful and cool. Smaller specimens are like much less flawed. Like the big ones kind of have cracks and decolorations in them, but these smaller ones are just like pearlescent. It's crazy. It's like every color.
It wouldn't be a beach day without a little cleanup.
Yeah, you should always pick up beach trash. We just sailed out of Proof Bay. We actually sailed off anchor for once, which was really fun. We haven't done that in forever, but the anchorage was perfectly set up with it. There was only one other boat and the wind was blowing us directly out, so it was an easy downwind turn. And now we've got the full canvas back up and we're cruising along at 5 knots. We're gonna head out into Fitzhugh Sound down into Penrose Island, where we're gonna stage to cross Cape Caution and head back down to the Broughtons. It's been a beautiful experience up here in the Central Coast though. We definitely want to come back, but unfortunately we've got some business to take care of and we're kind of at the tail end of the season here, unfortunately, which really caught up on us really quick. It's a bit of a shame. But we've got big adventures planned, which includes a hell of a lot of boat jobs because we've got tons of things that we realize we need to do in order to take this boat to Alaska. So we're going to go head back to the Broughtons, knuckle down for the winter, and get stuck into some of that stuff, which we'll fill you in on in just a little bit. Al's down below making some delicious lunch, which I'm stoked about because I'm getting a little peckish.
This is pretty well the last of our fresh vegetables. I know we provisioned a couple days ago, but because we don't have refrigeration on the boat, we can't buy a lot at once, so we buy a few things. It gets us through a couple of days, and we just like eat salads for days straight and enjoy the fresh stuff while we have it. But I'm making like I don't know what to call this, sort of like an Asian style salad maybe. I made like a miso peanut dressing and got heaps of veggies in here: cabbage, broccoli, shredded carrot, cucumber. Gonna throw in some quinoa and nuts for protein, and it's gonna be delicious. Rewind to a few months ago, entering into the protection of this picture-perfect bay, with Uintah anchored overlooking the beautiful white shell beaches of Fury Cove. After successfully rounding the most notorious cape in the Inside Passage route. We did it!
We did it. We made it around Cape Caution.
This is as north as we've ever been, so...
Yeah. We're going to be
really
saying that a lot this season as we go north.
Arriving a little late in the season, the predominant winds were now stacked against us, and we found ourselves fighting for every mile.
And we're just hauling up anchor as quickly as possible and getting out there because it's a southerly! Yay!
We'll just weather the storm, try to keep a warm, happy interior glow on.
So rather than spend a summer sailing stormy southwesterlies, we did a reroute on our entire plan, sailing Uintah into British Columbia's longest fjords.
Full speed! I love it when we hit hull speed. And what is probably the most delightful conditions possible. 6.8! Woo! Beam reaching! Alright! With mountain views, thick forests. It doesn't really get any better than this.
That goes down in the books as one of my favorite sailing days ever.
Yeah, that was killer.
Yeah, just effortlessly sailing through this incredible fjord.
Yeah.
On the Discovery Coast.
Oh.
Holy. I don't think that could have worked out any better for us. Sailing through those massive mountains, turquoise glacial water, cascading waterfalls.
Not to mention the hot springs. Those hot
Yeah.
springs are absolutely phenomenal. Hottest hot springs up on the coast.
Piping hot.
Boiling.
Just short of being able to make tea in that.
They're really hot.
They're really hot.
The biggest reason we decided to even go up into the fjords was for the hot springs. We knew there was 2 up there that we really wanted to check out, and we sort of accepted at this point that we weren't going to make it all the way to Alaska just
Yeah.
because we had left so late in the season. So we just took a little bit of a detour, and it turned out it was an epic one.
Yeah, if you're ever wondering what to do and you don't want to battle headwinds going north, by all means, just hook a right and head in an inlet, and you have inflow winds and outflow winds, which is a completely different weather system to that stabilizes the coast during the summer. That's a really fun thing that we learned out of this season.
Yeah, so we had 2 choices, right? We could continue up the coast battling northerlies for weeks, or we could hang a right and use those summer inflow winds to puff us beautifully downwind for weeks, which is exactly what we did. We basically lived at the head of these fjords.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we spent like an entire week just at Talio Hot Springs, which was probably one of the best weeks we have ever had.
And even then it was getting so hard to leave. It was pretty funny because the tour groups kept showing up in the mornings and they were just like, you guys are still here.
Yeah, it's the same one captain who drives people up there and he's just like, good morning.
We were just like the greeters of the tour groups, like, welcome to Tally Ho Hot Springs.
That was pretty funny. But also the fishing. The fishing up there is really, really good. Would recommend if you're not into like salmon fishing and all the kind of finicky things that comes along with that, then the jigging is absolutely fantastic.
Says the fishing guy.
You're like, oh, ow, it's a biggie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 85 pounds worth of galvanized metal big.
You hauled up our anchor. I can't. Massive fish. Oh, that's really funny.
Yeah, take
Yeah.
his word for it.
I catch the biggest fish.
Okay, also, I've been wanting to tell you guys, don't eat your halibut raw. Seriously, I can't even believe no one told us not to do that when
Just-
they watched that video. I was so sick.
It's like
later,
2 days, 3 days even.
later that night after eating that ceviche, I crawled into bed with a bit of a fever, and yeah, that hit me like a bag of bricks. I was sort of out of it for 2 days.
Yep.
Even hiking to that waterfall afterwards, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is not good.
I mean, that almost turned around our trip right there. It was like, oh, if Al gets any sicker, we're going to have to like battle it all the way back out to the hospital at Bella Bella.
Yeah, we were the furthest you could possibly be from a hospital at that point. So luckily I recovered and all was well in the world. Spectacular couple of weeks sailing up in the fjords. If you haven't guessed already, that's sort of our jam. We love sailing up into these far-reaching remote places. Butte Inlet, so awesome. And now Burke Channel, Dean Channel. So I think we're just going to keep ticking these fjords off
Yeah.
our list.
There's a couple of more big long principal fjords as we continue up the coast that we want to check out. There's tons of cool places to go see, more hot springs, more abandoned towns, and just really cool history up there. And we're really excited to go check it out, which is our plan for this year is I think we're actually going to sail all the way to Alaska.
Yeah, we should probably tell you guys where we even are right now. So we are back in Alert Bay. We sort of mentioned it in this video and in the last video, but at this point in our sailing season, we had 2 options. We could continue sailing north into the unknown,
with knowing that we had a ton of boat projects to do.
Oh, just so many boat projects. Like the list, it never gets smaller, does it? It's always just getting longer and longer and longer. So we made the decision to kind of turn the boat around and come back to the Broughtons here in Alert Bay, where we're currently based, and try to tick off some of those big ticket items on our list. A couple of big projects to get done. We're going to put a proper heater on the boat so that we can actually be warm. We're going to do some more further electrical upgrades, which is really nerdy, but like it's going to help us out a lot with solar and stuff. We want to change a little bit of the rigging. We're going to put in a new traveler and possibly get rid of our steering pedestal and go back to a tiller. Lots of reasons, but we'll discuss them all down the track another time. And yeah, we more or less also have to rebuild the bowsprit. So that's a huge one. We always haul our anchor by hand because we don't actually have a bow roller. And yeah, I just tweaked my back yesterday, so that's going to make it really hard to do that in the future. So
We did. We actually just had to give him a bunch of drugs so he could sit here comfortably and do this. So yeah, careful with your back, people.
Yeah.
Lift carefully.
Lift carefully. Don't do what I did.
Yeah,
so yeah, we're hunkered down for the winter. I'm back at work full time, more than full time really. Al's working full time on the videos and getting them all out, which a huge round of applause to Al because she's done an absolutely fantastic job this season.
Oh, come on. And you're filling the cruising kitty, so we couldn't do without both of us.
It takes a team, and that team is me, Al, and all of you guys out there that are watching, subscribing, liking the videos, helping us out on Patreon, and really just keeping our production running. So huge thank you to you all.
This is actually the last video that you guys are going to see from us for a little while. Our plan is to, well, we have to work. So unfortunately, we're going to be working to make a little bit of money so that we can take off again this summer. We've got all of those boat projects that we just mentioned, which we will get into more detail in the coming weeks. We hope to give you guys a little bit of winter sailing content if things work out for us. Right now, it's been we're supposed to be skiing right now.
There's no snow.
Doing an avalanche course. There's no snow. It's just been raining and just blowing a gale, like 40, 50 knots every day.
Steady every single day, just gales after gales after gales.
You can probably hear the wind right now. We tried to pick like a well-lit, quiet place to do this, but it's howling out there.
Yeah.
It's frothing.
It is frothing, isn't it?
So what was I just saying? So we're here, we're gonna be working. We hope to be doing some sailing. We're also gonna be getting a head start on all of these projects and filming those. So hopefully you can expect some winter sailing content from us, followed by some spring or winter refit projects. And then if all goes to plan, we'll be getting out of here and continuing the adventure north this spring in like May or something like that.
Yeah, our plan is to get going fairly early in May so that we can still catch some southerlies and ride them all the way north. We're not going to get into the specifics of it right now, but we have some really big adventures planned for the next cruising season. So if you haven't already subscribed, keep an eye out for them because they are coming up just around the horizon.
Yeah. Just around the horizon.
Just around the horizon.
Just around
a few more
the
laps of the sun and we'll be there.
Thank you everyone for joining us this season. We hope you enjoyed it. Biggest thanks to our Patreons. You guys are absolute legends. We love posting our videos in Patreon. They're ad-free, by the way, and just having a chit chat with you guys.
Yeah.
I do a big write-up to accompany the video, so you get some sort of backstory about what was going on when we filmed that video. You get some more history of the places that we visited. Yeah, and it's just a really interactive space. We are planning to offer more add-ons for our Patreons in the future. So yeah, if you feel like you get joy out of these videos, if you feel like they
enrich your life, entertain you, motivate you to get out sailing and explore some of our beautiful coast, consider signing up on Patreon. It's fairly cheap. I think it's like $3.
Yeah.
So, and it really helps us keep the software and the licensing and everything paid for. And it's just a lot of fun for us to engage with you guys as a community.
Thank you so much for being here. We really look forward to sharing these videos with you, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Oh, and if you're going to be at the Vancouver Boat Show this weekend.
This weekend, next weekend, February,
it's right now. If you're watching this video, we are at the boat show.
We are there at the boat show.
So stop what you're doing, come to Granville Island, and join us for a beer.
Yes, we'll be down at Granville Island in the afternoon at the Tap and Barrel, so pop down and come have a beer with us.
Awesome. Hope to see you out there, guys.
All right.
Take
Cheers.
care.